be closer to me? And Elizabeth, do you want to come up here? Do you want to move up a little bit? Come on up. And then, is it Delaney? Is that your name? Delaney, there's a chair up here. Do you want to take that one? I like that name. Is that somebody's last name? Were you named after somebody, Delaney? No. All right. Did you know he was coming?
Yeah, you're not in there.
Your teacher told you you were having a surprise today?
No, it says that. It says right here.
Where?
On the board.
Oh, there I am. I love seeing my name in print. It would be better if it was lights.
Logan, I'm gonna say.
Did you ever hear that? Your name in lights?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know, did they tell you what I do and things like that?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. Again, my name is Mr. Matteson, and what I do is I travel. Has anybody seen me before in here? Because I've been here. Have I been in your classrooms before?
Yes.
All right. Well, what did I do last year? Why didn't you tell people what I did? You remember?
No.
Okay. Yes.
You told us about a writing.
I did. I wrote in front of you. Do anybody remember what I wrote?
About spiders.
About what?
The fighting spiders.
Oh, the fighting. Do you remember? I didn't call in the shower, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't call it a fighting shower. You remember what I called it? Remember that vocabulary word? What is it?
Brawling.
Not really. It wasn't brawling. It wasn't fighting. What was it? Anybody remember? How about sparring?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because why did I call it sparring spiders? Yes.
Because they were sparring.
They were sparring, right? But I was thinking about that SP and the SP, right? It sounds kind of neat to say sparring spiders. Because what's sparring mean? Fighting. That's exactly right. Okay. So typically that's my favorite thing to do is to tell stories. Do you guys get to write stories?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Do you get to write stories about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's my favorite thing to do. You know who my favorite character is?
You.
Me. Are you your favorite character?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character then if it's not you?
I like writing about me. Greg Hadley.
Do you? What is it, sir?
Greg Hadley.
Okay, all right. But what I'm going to do this time is informational writing. Do you know what informational writing is? What is
Yeah.
informational writing? Or explanatory writing? Yes.
It's a writing that tells you facts about something.
It's what?
It's a writing that tells you about facts.
Okay. So what's the difference between a narrative and informational writing, Logan?
Narrative could kind of make realistic fiction, could or could not happen, and explanatory is info that tells you about something.
Okay. Well, I noticed you all have your cards. So, Logan, so tell me, what would you be looking for if you were reading a narrative?
Characters, plot, setting, significant events, or identifiable problem, beginning, middle, and end.
All right. So if you're looking at a narrative and those things are in there, why wouldn't it be an informational piece? How would you know it wasn't an informational piece? How would you know? I like it. I like what you know. You just see what are you doing right now? What did you just do? Which is a good thing to do.
I was looking at the other side.
I love that you're looking at the other side. I saw him peeking, and is it okay to peek? It is. So Logan, you're looking at a narrative, right? You've decided that something's a narrative. Why isn't it? Why isn't it an expositor, an informational piece? You can look.
It would, because in the expository it tells about a specific item, but in a narrative it would talk about multiple items.
Okay, it would be a bigger thing, right? It would be a bigger thing than, a narrative would be a bigger thing than a informational topic, right? And does everybody know when I talk about informational text, it falls under expository, right? If it's expository, one part of expository is going to be informational. All right. Well, I've got my research, which is what I did. Do you guys ever do research?
Yes.
what kind of things are you interested, what kind of research do you do? Yes. Is it Brooklyn? That's a very interesting name, I like that. Say it again. Okay, why did you do one on Pocahontas? Did you want to? Okay. Okay, all right. I didn't know if was it tied to like social studies or anything? It was? Okay, because a lot of times things are tied to social studies or.
Haiku deck presentations on for social studies.
Okay, all right, all right. Does it, one of the things I like to do is I like to research things because I'm interested in things, right? Like one of the things I'm interested in is space. And so when things happen, when I hear about things, right, I kind of, what do I do when I hear things about space, do you think? I do. You know what we call that? It begins with an R. Yes. I research it, right? So last year, my big thing was all of a sudden I heard about meteor showers, right? They had the meteor showers like in August, and then they came back again in December. And so I had lots of questions about the meteor showers. Are you guys familiar with in August and things that there are certain times there's more meteor showers? So I was really interested in that. And then this last thing that happened to me was I was in the car, like last month, and I heard about a mini moon. Do you guys know about mini moons?
No.
Well, I didn't either. So do you know what I did, Hunter? I researched it. Yes, sir. And so what I did was I went on the internet. Joyce, can we turn the lights off? See if that helps a little bit.
Down.
Oopsie, that's too much.
Other way works better.
We always have to turn them down for some reason. I think it's all the windows.
Oh, it's the windows.
The light's on.
Oh, it's gonna-
The light's not on
Is
in
that a
the
little
dark
better?
reader.
There's
What about the light on with the dark reader light?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I don't necessarily have I didn't tell you this too. I was gonna say I don't have my library card because do you know where my library card is? In Chicago. Because that's where I live, right, in Chicago, right? So I kind of depend on the internet for my things, but I think, one of the things when you're doing research, you have to go to different places, use different resources. So the internet's one place I go, but the library would be another place I go. Do you have a school library here?
Yeah.
I'd be going there. The other thing you could do is you could also be asking people, experts in the field, what they think. So I just went on the internet and I pulled a couple of things off of here. This is one article. It's on that I found. This is another article I found. They were just kind of short little things, and they didn't call it a mini moon. They called it a what?
Micro.
A micro. And look at what I did. What was I doing on all my articles? What was I doing on my articles? Liana, is that your name? Is that how you say it? What did I do on all my articles?
You were taking out the information that you thought was
Yep.
most important.
What did I do? Yep. How'd you know that I did that? What did I do?
You highlighted.
I highlighted them, right? And so I'm highlighting things. How much of my article is highlighted? A lot or a little? A little bit's there. And when you look at in a sentence, how much of a sentence did I take out? How many words did I highlight? What's the most number of words? Yes, sir. What's your name?
Either 1 or 4.
Yeah, 1 to 4, right? That's all I did. I highlighted 1 to 4. Why? What's your name?
Hunter.
Hunter? Is there more than one Hunter?
Yeah.
How can that be? There's more than one Hunter. All right. Why did I only do 1 to 4 words? Why isn't it most of this highlighted?
Because the stuff that you highlighted is probably the most informational.
I had a question in my head, right? What was my question? Say it again. What are micro moons or what are mini moons, right? So that's what I was looking for, not anything else, but some more information came up too, right? Say it again.
The name is kind of the opposite of.
Yes, do you know about this stuff?
No.
Okay.
Kind of.
You were just kind of reading while I was talking? Okay. So anyway, so I highlighted the things. I see that word right there. Can you see that word? What does it say? Supermoon. So, and I'm looking, and then there were some vocabulary words that I saw, which are gonna be important. There's this word right here. Yeah, it's hard. It's, this one right here is, oh my word, I worked on pronouncing it. Apogee, and this is perigee. Everybody say apogee.
Apogee.
Say perigee.
Perigee.
All right, now, here's the thing. Do you think I knew those words?
No.
I did not know those words, so I had to either look in the article to see if it explained that, or look it up a little bit, right? Because can I write something down that I don't know what it is? All right, that's why. And anyway, so I took out some articles. Look at this right here. There was another word that I came to, which was, let me see. Let me see. Elliptical. All right, did I know that word? Or I wasn't quite sure about elliptical, so what did I have to do? And what did I do on my notes right above elliptical? Okay, I had to put it equals oval. What does that mean when you see equals oval? Yes?
Means that it's like an oval.
Okay, all right. So anyways, this is what I did. I made sure, and here were some of the things that I had to find out, because I found some information that I go, I don't know what that is. So you know what I had to do when I looked up what a mini moon was? I had to look up the moon phases. Do you guys know about moon phases?
Yeah.
I did not know about moon phases, so I had to look that up, all right? So anyways, here's where I am in my research. All right. What do I have done so far? What do I have done in my research so far? Who are you?
Lily.
Lily. Lily, where am I in my research right now?
Right now you're on basically you're organizing the thing you think that are playing.
Yep, what have I organized so far, Lily? Can you read it up there?
I can look at the second one and I see that those are moon phases.
Yes? Maybe this will help you right up here.
And
Can you see this word, Lily, right here? It's an abbreviation.
Can't see it.
It's introduction. I know it's hard to read. So introduction, and then, so is that my first paragraph, Lily?
Yeah.
It is my first paragraph. So what have I got done so far, Lily?
Your first paragraph and your second paragraph.
I have the first paragraph and my second paragraph. That's exactly right. So, but here's what I'm going to end up with. I'm going to end up with a third paragraph because I've got some more information, and I'm not going to have a fourth paragraph. I'm sorry. I'm going to have my introduction. I'm going to have a paragraph in my body. I'm going to have another paragraph in my body, and I'm going to do the conclusion. All right. So how many paragraphs, Lily, is my piece going to be?
4.
It's going to be 4 paragraphs, right? So how many paragraphs do you guys get to write? 3 to 5 paragraphs? Okay. Do you always have to paragraph everything you do? Yeah. So pretty much we're gonna paragraph. Okay. So look what I did right here in my introduction. I was trying to think about how I'm going to introduce this piece, and I was kind of torn. Do you guys have trouble figuring out what your beginning or your introduction is going to be? So I was actually torn between 2 introductions. I thought I could start it out with a lot of what I know about space, right? I thought I could say, oh, out in space is kind of an interesting thing. There's volcanoes coming out of planets, right? There are, space journeys to, different planets. There are all sorts of things, right? And then maybe just have an introduction about mini moons. But I decided to go with something else. I decided to go with something that sounds like me talking a little bit about my question. And say it again.
Action lead?
What do you mean?
Oh no. I can see it. Oh no, dialogue lead.
Oh, like dialogue. It is kind of like dialogue, right? You know, so, but it's me talking about my thing. And so look what I put. I put a mini moon, and then I put down what I know about mini and what I know about moon. And this is what I know about mini. Mini me, mini donuts, mini skirts. And here's what I know about moons. I know blue moon, harvest moon. A blue moon is kind of a certain time of the year when it kind of looks blue. A harvest moon, I think is really kind of a bright yellow or almost orange, right? So I know a blue moon, a full moon, a crescent moon. I even know the man on the moon.
Oh.
All right, but why did I write like that, man on the moon? Why did I write it like that? Yes, Emily?
Since you're just planning it, you might as well just put some abbreviations in there.
Right, because this is my plan. Am I going to write everything out, or am I taking notes, Emily?
Basically, you're just taking notes on the plan.
I'm just taking notes on a plan, and how do I decide what words to write down and what words to leave out? Like, I didn't write man on the moon, did I? I just wrote what 2 words? James, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking you just write the keywords.
I do just write the key words, right? What are not key words, James?
Like on,
Yep.
it.
Yep, all of those little things are not key words, right? Are they important in note-taking, James? They are not. When are those words important?
They're important on rough drafts and final.
All right, when you're actually writing, that's when they're important, right? So that man moon stands for what? Man on the moon. So anyways, I'm going to talk about that, and then I put my research question, which was what?
What is a mini moon?
Okay. Can I read? And then I did my second one already, my second paragraph, which is all about the what? The 4 main phases. All right. Are you ready to see my 2 first paragraphs?
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I need from you: some feedback. So I want what's feedback? Yes, and I want you to be thinking about 2 things. I want you to think about what you think about my introduction. And the introduction is supposed to do what? Hang on for a minute. Who are you back there with the card in her hand? Yes. Who is it? Lizzie? Okay. What is the introduction supposed to do? Because I want you to let me know if it's effective or not effective.
It's supposed to bring the readers into writing.
Yep, it's supposed to bring the readers into the writing, into my piece, right? So that's what I want you. And then I want you to think about my second paragraph, and what do you think you're going to be looking for in my second paragraph? Yes.
Information.
Yes, it is where the information goes, right? So I want you to think about that, okay? So here it is. Here's what I've got so far. All right? Let me see if I can get it off so you can see. All right, ready? A mini moon, I've heard of a mini me, a mini donut, and a mini skirt. I've heard of a blue moon, a harvest moon, a full and crescent moon, even the man on the moon. But what is a mini moon? All right, first, that's my introduction. All right, and then my second paragraph is this. As the moon orbits the Earth, look at all the changes I had to make, right? Because I was having trouble with this, right? As the moon orbits the Earth, 4 main phases of the moon can be observed. There's the first and second quarter moon, in which only partial pieces of the moon are visible. There's, there's a new moon, which is harder to see because the sun's rays block its view. At the full moon phase, the whole moon can be seen. This is because the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth, farthest from the sun. And I put a question mark after that last sentence because I'm not quite sure if I need to do a better job of writing that sentence. So, anyways, what about my introduction? A mini moon, I've heard of a mini me, a mini donut, and a mini skirt. I've heard of a blue moon, a harvest moon, a full and crescent moon, even the man on the moon. But what is a mini moon? What do you think about that? Give me some feedback. What do you think?
Well,
Hunter?
actually, like a person is about a mini donut, mini me, and mini skirt. That's
Yeah.
probably kind of like a humorous.
It is. It is. So do you think that's effective?
Kind
Okay, I kind of thought it was humorous too, right? Because really, do I know a lot about mini moons? That's the other thing in here, in that introduction. What, am I saying that I know a lot about mini moons or not a lot about? I don't know a lot, right? So I was trying to use a little bit of humor. What else in that introduction was effective or not effective?
If somebody were, like, if this was a book, like, your title might be boring, but then if they read it, your intro, it hooks the reader into wanting to hear more.
Okay. All right. What do you think about this one? Effective or not with that?
Effective.
You think it's effective? Okay. Anybody think? What do you think, Emily?
Once again, what Kaylin said, that it hooks you, but when you finish reading the paragraph, I wanted to hear everything else you had to say about it.
Okay. And so that's why I thought this one was a better one. When I started talking about what I know about space in general, it was too broad, right? And I don't think they kind of knew what I was going to be talking about, right? So this, it also has to let the reader know what I'm going to be talking about. Does this let you know what I'm going to be talking about? Okay. Aaron?
In my opinion, the part where it says, I've heard of a blue moon, a harvest moon, a full moon, and a crescent moon, I think that you should put the meanings of
Oh,
each
do you?
one,
Do you?
because if you put that, the person might be like, what is a full moon?
Well, can I
What
tell
is
you
a
my
moon?
thinking behind this, right, was that wasn't necessarily important. What was I trying to say in the introduction?
That you know different moons.
Yeah, I just know different moons, I don't know anything, so I felt like, I think if I go and I tell what those things are, that might be too much information. What do you think? Could it be too much information? Yeah. So what do you think, sir?
The harvest moon is when it looks like it's kind of orange?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and I think it tends to happen in the fall time, like, you know, September,
That's
October,
right.
November. Yes?
I disagree with Aaron because I do think that you're writing piece isn't about that, but I do think you should put the moon and then put and a crescent moon because it just.
Let me see if I can find it. Oh, and a crescent moon, so what do you think, what is the word a? Do I need to stick in there?
And add moon.
A
Because I saw
full,
that out,
a
but
full and crescent moon, a full and a crescent moon. I don't know, I have to think about that one. All right, so, all right, let me just quickly, because I want to get at least one more paragraph done. What did you think about my second paragraph? What needs to be in the second paragraph? Who remembers? Say it again. The information, right? And so I was happy to talk about the phases first, because you need to know about the phases before we can, you know, especially a full moon, because that's what a mini moon is, it's a full moon, right? As the moon orbits the Earth, 4 phases of the moon can be observed. There's the first and second quarter moon, in which only partial pieces of the moon are visible. There's a new moon, which is harder to see because the sun's rays block its view. At the full moon phase, the whole moon can be seen. This is because the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth, farthest from the sun. I'm not sure about that one, but what do you think about that information about the phases? Because we're going to need to know that going into my next paragraph. Lily?
I think it was pretty nice how you explained that.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. So do you
you
think?
did a pretty good job of explaining.
All right, for somebody who doesn't know a lot about the phases of the moon, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and so, because especially they're gonna need to know about a full moon, so that's why I ended with a full moon there. What's your name?
Caleb,
Kaylin?
as you were reading, I was looking at the expository side of the card, and the second paragraph, it's a specific topic, because you're talking about the phases of the moon, and like listening, like sometimes you can hear the first sentence and it can kind of sound boring, but you want to read more.
So what you're telling me is, is the paragraph, do you think it's an okay paragraph? Is it effective? Is it wanting the reader to read on?
It's okay.
What, I just have to ask this, what is okay about that paragraph? Because it's got the facts, but it's got to have a little bit more, right? Well, how does it have pizzazz or whatever, I guess?
Probably you can put some more information on the moon phases and how it happens.
Okay, well, but I'm gonna say that too, I didn't wanna do that because this isn't really about the moon phases, right? They need to know the phases of the moon because I'm gonna talk about the full moon, right? So I didn't wanna go overboard on the phases of the moon, I wanted just to put enough information there, so, say it again? Well, so that so they know something about it before I talk about the mini moon and the super moon. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and the other thing I was thinking about that I really tried hard is about my sentence structures, using a variety of different sentence types. Like for instance, the first sentence here is, as the moon orbits the earth. Do you see how I started that? Do you see the part I crossed off? The sentence started out before, what two words did I start out before? There are 4 main phases, and then I thought, no, I don't like that. It's kind of a simple sentence, right? So I decided to make it a little bit more, you know, what'd you say, pizzazz? Okay. And so I changed it to, as the moon orbits the earth, 4 main phases can be observed. Did you like that sentence type that I used instead of saying there is or it is or whatever? Aaron. Thank you, sir.
I don't really think the first sentence makes that much sense because
Okay.
it says, as the moon orbits the earth, 4 main phases of.
Oh. You
Because,
say you have to drop down, right? Because I skip lines, right?
yeah.
When I copied, was that confusing?
No, it's when you go from earth to 4 main phases.
All right, as the moon orbits the earth, 4 main phases of the moon can be observed.
Maybe a comma?
That makes,
A comma after earth,
Yeah.
think so? A little pause, right?
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted my readers to know that the sun's going around the earth. If you're
Yeah.
standing on the earth, you're looking up that you can see,
Yeah.
you know, the main phases, okay? All right, so here I go. Oh, and I love doing this. This is my plan, and you can see, hang on a minute. Wrong one. Look what I did. What did I do? What does that mean?
That you put it in the order.
Yep. What about this? 4 main phases of the moon. Can I check that off?
Yes.
First quarter.
Yeah.
And look, I did a little diagram right there too. Can you see the little diagram?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to add that diagram into my piece when I'm done, right? Why is a diagram or an illustration important to put in there? Yes, Brooklyn. Right, so if they have trouble, they're going to be able to look at the illustration, right? Did I do the second quarter? Yes, first and second. Did I do the new moon and the full moon?
Yeah.
I did, so look at check mark, check mark. Okay, one last thing, and this is where I could use some help. Headings. What do you know about headings? Hunter.
Well, on the heading
Yes.
for that, you could put how the moon changes phases.
All right, how the moon changes phases. Does that sound like a good heading?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What else?
Just say moon phase.
All right, moon phases. So what do you think is more effective? How, you know, is it writing sentences? Or is it writing little phrases? What do you think for headings?
I think it's just writing phrases because it's kind of just, to be honest, makes sense because it's just moon phases, but it doesn't really explain how it changes moon
All right.
phases.
All right, and why does maybe phrases, why do you think phrases might be, you know, a better thing than a longer one? Hunter, why do you think a phrase might be easier or better?
Well, a phrase is just like either 1 or 2 words.
Yes. Yes, and I think it's kind of easier to, to read, to look at quickly to know what's coming up. Do you think moon phases is gonna let them know what's coming up in my thing? So do you think moon phases? Is that right? All right, so that's gonna be my heading, moon phases. And then why did I draw this arrow right over here to the graphics?
Oh.
Why did I do that, Logan?
For your diagram.
Right, I already did the diagrams here, right? And then I'm gonna put those in my finished product. Okay, you ready for my next piece?
Yes.
All right. All right, so let me think about this. All right, here's what I wanna start off with this section, which is, can you see?
Yeah.
What's apostrophe S mean? What's apostrophe S mean? Yes, sir.
I think it means that it's theirs.
Okay. It is, and so in this case, it's gonna be whose? The moon's.
So the moon has that orbit.
All right, it does have an orbit, and remember the word? Let me see if I can spell it right. I have to look how I spelled it right here in my plan. Because if it's in your research, can you misspell it?
No.
You can't. Why?
Because it's right there.
It is right there. So I gotta just quickly find the word. Oh, there it is. Elliptical. All right. So elliptical. And remember what elliptical means? So what could I do? So in my notes, so it'll help me. What could I do right now, Brooklyn? Okay, I could put equals oval. What else could I do, Ryan?
Is it called like when you put it, like parentheses?
Parenthesis. That's what I was kind of thinking. So a parenthesis, just like that, right? A lot of times that's the meaning, right? So the moon's orbit equals what?
Elliptical.
Or
Oval.
oval. Right. Okay. So I have to think about this. Here's what I found out now. Can you see?
Yes. Mini moons.
Equals. See if I can do this. Let me see. I look at my research here. I'm just looking at am I looking at the whole article?
No.
What am I looking at right now?
Important parts of
You're
the.
skimming.
Well, what am I looking at?
Your
My highlighted things right now, right? Because I'm not copying the whole thing. So let me see, a mini moon is the farthest point from, and what word could I have gotten rid of in there? What word, if I was just taking notes, I don't need the word, I could have just taken farthest point from Earth. So I didn't need the word the. And then, this is the other thing I found, was this, when I was reading. And what is that? What do you think the definition of that is?
Closest point from Earth.
Closest point,
From Earth.
yeah, I think to the Earth.
No.
All right.
Don't use
To the Earth would
Yeah.
make sense.
It doesn't, okay. And let me see what else I need to think about with this.
Let's just say where you want to go.
Say it again?
Unless you're saying where you want to go.
To the Earth.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, and, let me just, I wanna draw my illustration right now, so you can see, this is what I'm gonna put in my finished product, I wanna show this, but this is where I'm gonna put in my vocabulary, remember the 2 vocabulary words? Apogee and perigee, that's exactly right, so, let me just quickly do this, because what's in the caption is that when I talk about apogee and perigee, is that going to be in the body or not? Apogee and perigee, is that going to be in the body?
Yeah.
No. Wait, yes, I'm
Yes.
confused.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Oh,
What?
I think because it's a caption, you
Okay. Whatever I put in the caption, is it just giving us more, the same information, or is it giving us the same facts that are in the body, or different facts? Different facts, right. And so what I want you to look at when you look at the caption is getting the vocabulary words, which are apogee and perigee. Okay. So let me I have to label this. I'm going to label this Earth, and then I've got to put the orbit in, and the orbit is what shape? So I got to try to do an oval. Is that an oval?
Yeah.
Is that okay? I'm going to label it. What am I going to label it? Orbit. Moon's orbit, but I think they're going to know it's the moon's orbit when I put in the moon. All right, so this is the moon. Which moon?
Micro.
The micro or mini moon. So I'm going to label that mini moon. And do you think it's going to be apogee or perigee? It is apogee, and that's, and I can write it down here, but I'm just going to write apogee here. Apogee, and I'm going to do this. If the moon was over here, what kind of a moon is that? Well, but what kind of moon is it? Super moon. And underneath that, I'm going to write perigee. Okay. How'd you guys get so smart? Do you have a good teacher?
Yes.
All right, and, oh, I know, sorry. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got too many pieces of paper. All right, what paragraph am I on right now?
3.
Are you sure, 2 or 3?
3.
I am, I'm on my 3rd paragraph. Ready? What's the first thing I do? I am. How many indents am I going to have in this piece? In this piece, how many indentations am I going to have? 5. I'm going to have 4. Ready? I got to skip lines. Why do I skip lines? Why do I skip lines? Leanna.
So if you make a mistake.
I never make mistakes, do I?
Revise.
Do I ever make mistakes?
When you revise, maybe you can, like, that stuff you're going to add on the top.
Yes.
You
All
can
right.
cross out and then.
I can just line out and just do that, right? All right, so let me see. Maybe I'll do this. I was going to start with the word the, right?
Yeah.
But what am I thinking about with my sentences? Right, but do I want to have better sentences than sentences that start with the or I? And so I thought I might start this way. I don't know, should I say oval or oval shaped? What word's coming up next in my piece? What word's going to be next? I haven't written it yet. And what word? Hunter.
I don't know.
Read it and take a guess, sir. I don't want you to say I don't know. I want you to take a guess. Read that sentence. Are you reading it? Okay. And then tell me, make a prediction. What word's coming up next?
B.
All right. Anybody think differently? James, what do you think?
I was thinking, can it be, apogee?
Okay. So you're thinking the next word is B? Okay. What do you think, sir?
Orbit.
Can orbit? Okay. Would that make sense? Can it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, in orbit closer and farther away from the Earth.
Well, but read the whole sentence right now. The moon can't orbit? Do you think that makes sense?
Oh.
It would make sense, but I don't know if it's gonna, it would be grammatically correct, so I'm not sure. So I got B, I don't think it can be orbit, yes?
Become.
Can become, okay, James, what do you think?
Change.
Can change? All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, because the moon's orbit is elliptical or oval shaped, here's the other thing I always have trouble with. Do you think it's this
No.
or not?
No.
Do you think it's hyphenated?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
All right, guess what you have to do after I leave?
What?
Figure it out.
How are you gonna figure it out?
Research
You can look it up online or go to the, we're obviously not in the same age bracket, people. How about this? What's that book called where you have words in there? The dictionary. Because the moon's orbit is elliptical or oval shaped, and I'm just gonna do this because who needs to look it up for me? You do. Do you know what the great thing about being a teacher is?
That you make the kids look.
That I don't have to do the work you do.
Yeah.
Because the moon's orbit is elliptical or oval shaped, the moon can be, oh, I know, sorry, I just had a brainstorm. Do you guys ever have good brainstorms?
Yeah.
Can appear, make a prediction, what word's coming up next?
Farther to the earth.
Can appear farther or closer, look at that, to, or do I need the word to the earth or to earth?
To earth.
Why do I want to try to use as few words as possible, right? So I don't think I need that. Okay. And look what I get to do right here.
Check off.
All right, I'm going to stop there. I kept you way too long.
No, you didn't.
So, all right. What do you think about this piece? What do you think about this informational piece? I want to know. I want to know what's good about it, I guess, or what do I need to improve on? Yes, sir. Tell me your name again.
Mason.
Mason. Okay. What do you think, Mason? Why do you think it's a good piece, and why?
I think it's a good piece because it has a lot of detail about
Okay.
humans and
Okay.
why
So,
it's small.
okay. So do you think I included enough information in there? Okay. What do you think, my dear? Do you think it's an effective piece, and why?
Okay, being honest, I think it's.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's not
Let
gonna
me
be
brace
bad.
myself.
I
No, I'm
promise it's
teasing
not
you.
gonna be bad.
I'm
I
teasing
think it's
you.
effective because your introduction draws in, and then your
Okay.
2 paragraphs. They're informational, but they're not boring informational.
Okay.
They're like.
Okay. Just
I don't
enough?
know how to put it.
Well, I think I was trying, because we talked about it, I was trying just to write enough information, not too much or
Yeah, enough.
too little.
It's like you don't have enough, and you have enough,
Okay.
but it's not too much and it's not
Okay.
too little.
All right.
It's-
And I also, before I thought this, I needed to think about ahead of time how many paragraphs I needed, because I think sometimes I sometimes stick to 3 paragraphs, but when I was thinking about this, I decided, this is gonna have to be 4 paragraphs because of the information. Brooklyn, what are you thinking? Let me get closer because I can't hear you. I like that. She's talking about, conforming. And you know what I didn't tell you up front, who this is for? I have an audience for this piece. What's an audience? What or who's an audience? Yes, sir, way back there. What's your name?
Dallas.
Dallas?
Audience is someone who you're presenting to. or
Yes.
talking to.
Yes. And I didn't tell you that up front, who this is for. It's for Colin. Yes. It's my youngest boy.
Wants to learn about minimum?
Yes? 17?
I thought it'd be younger than that. 11-year-old, 17-year-old stuff.
Well, here's why. I've got a thing that I'm trying to do is, like I did this when the comet showers were happening. You have to stay up late at night, right? And do you think I want to stay up by myself?
No.
No. I want to make sure I have somebody with me, and guess who the likely target is? Colin, right? So I did a research that I gave it to Colin, so I was trying to get him excited about staying up and watching the meteor shower with me. And so, in my conclusion, I'm going to talk about how I'm going to end this. I'm talking about when the next mini moon is going to happen and when the next super moon is going to happen. The next mini moon is going to be March of 2015.
That's next year.
I know. But the next super moon is August 2014.
Yes.
So when's it coming up?
Moon.
In a few months, right? So I'm hoping that, Colin and I can, talk about it and stuff like that. So that's why he's my audience. I'm trying to get him interested. I want him to be just like me.
5 months till the next.
Logan, do you have something to say?
I was just gonna say,
Hang on
I
one minute.
agree that you would put down mini instead of micro, because some people might read it and think of microscopic.
Okay. I like that you're thinking that way, because I wondered, just quickly, I decided not to, but I wondered about using both of those, mini or micro, but I decided just to go with mini.
Mini's
Okay.
better.
Is it better? James, what are you thinking?
When you said farther or closer to Earth, I was thinking you could use perigee and apogee.
Yes, but remember where this is why I wanted to think about this, because remember I put apogee, where did I put apogee and perigee?
Oh, on the diagram.
In the caption, and we have to make sure that what we're putting in the caption is not the same thing, exactly the same thing that's in the text. Does that make sense? Because when you go to a test, do you ever take a test, like a state test?
Yeah.
Do they ever give you something to read?
Yeah.
Do they ever give you informational text to read?
Yeah.
Do informational text have an illustration and a caption?
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of times the questions on the test, guess what a question will be about on informational text? The caption. Did you know that?
Yes.
All right, now you do. So what do you need to make sure you do when you're reading that test? Make sure you look at the illustration of the caption, because the state may ask a question on there about the caption, because the caption is different information. It's not necessarily exactly the same. It gives you more or different facts.
I remember
And next time you all do so well on the test, you need to thank Mr. Matteson for it, right?
Yeah. He read a story called Trail Mix, and then there was the ending. There was like a box. It was like a caption, but it had informational text in it. And so I think it was the second to last or the last question. We had to answer it, and I didn't read the box, so I had to go back.
Did you? You went back to read it. But we have to be careful, because when you have informational text, things like headings are very important, and captions, illustrations are very important. You can't skip over them, right? All right. And the only thing I have to think about, maybe you can help me just quickly. I have to come up with, I don't have a lot here, but I have to come up with a heading for my third paragraph, right, which is going to be, it says about the moon's orbit. I'm going to talk about mini moon and super moon. What do you think I could put for a heading quickly? Give me some suggestions. Emily, you got a suggestion? Okay. Sorry, I didn't give you time to think about it. Hunter.
Super and mini moon.
All right, super and mini moon. The moon's orbit. Well, does that tell us about the super moon and the mini moon? It's going to kind of tell us about the whole paragraph, right? So I love that. Yes. What do you think?
Super and mini moon orbit.
Okay. Yeah, if I could just kind of list them a little bit. Can I tell you what somebody suggested to me? Because I was kind of thinking ahead about this. What do you think about this? The Secret Life of Moons. No? What do you think of that one? Yes, no?
Secret life.
Oh.
The light.
I thought it was kind of interesting, but I'll have to think about it. I said that's right, I have to think about it.
I like it kind of, but I don't really think it would work.
All right, anyways, I'm done. I'm done with you.
Okay.
All right, now, the people who moved, again, wait a minute. You have to get back to your seats or your desk without injuring anyone.